hello there. I am Taylor, and you are listening to the Surviving Maine Podcast Deep-Dive interview series. About over a year ago now, I spoke with most of the cast of Surviving Maine Season 4, just weeks after they played the game. So these interviews are untainted by the edited show. It's just how each player remembers their game, what was important to them, what were their favorite moments, what are their regrets. These interviews I've been doing since season 2, and they're just kind of a way for the players to have a cathartic expression of their game. So for the last time this season, here is my interview with the winner of Surviving Maine Season 4, Callie. Callie, hello. Nice to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
Yes, you are the winner of Surviving Maine Season 4. How does that feel to hear that being said?
It's so crazy. I did not at all come in expecting to win. It was really more of like, I'll try it out, and I'm not expecting to go very far, but I just want to make the merge. And,
Yeah.
Things just kept aligning until somehow I made it to the end and won. So that is crazy.
It is. So I'm curious. I don't know if I should ask now or toward the end, but I'm curious as to whether you knew your friends were going to be playing, and did you talk about, I'm sure you did talk about not telling anybody, how did that all go down? Are they the ones who even talld you about this game and you should apply for it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, I was definitely torn on that because so these boys, Chris, Kiefer, and Adam, I met them probably 6 months ago, maybe more, just through a mutual friend, and they're all really good, really close friends from college, and they're awesome guys, just super nice, super into Survivor, and I had gotten into Survivor over the pandemic, and we started all kind of watching it together. I heard at one of these watch parties that they were planning to play this. I had never heard of LRGs, and Chris had found it somehow through Facebook, and originally I was not even considering playing myself. I was just like, oh, that's so fun, they'll have a blast. And they had I mean, I think they were all surprised to have been cast together. They
Okay.
had their address down on the application. Weren't like, oh, we're coming in together explicitly, but also weren't necessarily trying to hide it from production. We came in the whole time being like, we're not going to hide this from production. People are going to know at the very end. But
well, you didn't say anything to me in the interviews.
I didn't.
Nobody did.
I know. I think it was, yeah, everyone wanted to play, and we didn't want to be secretive about it, but also came in with an understanding yeah, we're gonna be together. That's definitely an advantage, and also gonna be a target on our backs. But
right.
At the same time, we were kind of expecting, yeah, it seems in this LRG community, people do kind of play these games together. It's a larger group than maybe others, but we didn't think we'd be alone in having kind of pre-known people.
I mean, that's kind of fair. Because there are a lot of, and there were in the game people who had played together before. The difference, I think, is that those people have a different, because all of you were first time players, right? None of you had played before.
No.
I guess they were wise enough to know there's going to be people who have played before, maybe played with each other. So the difference is that those people don't pregame, and you guys clearly did, right? So you had a bigger advantage going in.
Yeah, we actually didn't pre-plan anything.
Okay.
I actually kind of thought production had an idea. Obviously not me, because I came in very last minute. They had sent out the post like, oh, they are casting one more woman to join. They like really
Yeah.
need someone. So I was not going to play. I didn't apply with them initially, but
Yeah.
when we saw that post, I applied. I didn't even get it at first, and there was someone else who had signed up, and then they dropped, so I got
Mhm.
it. And yeah, I didn't mention it at that time. I'm was torn about it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it seemed like they really needed someone kind of last minute. So yeah, and we didn't pre-plan any strategy really, especially
Yeah.
because we knew we were all on different tribes prior to the merge. We're like, okay, it's going to be on our own, except for Chris and I, who were on the same tribe.
Mhm. And for people who don't know, who are listening, Chris is Topher.
Topher, yes. He he wanted that game persona, and
Yeah.
that was definitely probably slipped up a couple of times calling him
Oh,
Chris
really?
instead of Topher, but
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
yeah. um yeah, we didn't plan it. I mean, maybe they were, because they all live together as well, have more planning, but honestly it was, I think everyone understood like it's Survivor, it's going to be situational. I think there was an agreement like no backstabbing until the merge.
Okay. Okay.
But everyone's a big enough fan that it wasn't going to be like, oh, we have to go in and as this voting block and completely,
Yeah.
blindside everyone with this secret alliance. I think everyone was, in their own game and uh, wanting to play to the correct strategy rather than just current friendships.
Okay, cool. Now that we've cleared all that up, and that's understandable. And like, I mean, if I had friends going into a game, I wouldn't want to tell anyone either, and I wouldn't. So whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's a definitely advantage. I'm not like downplaying that at all, and I'm not
Sure.
really expecting to be a fan favorite for that reason. But yeah, I won't downplay that. But at the same time, like it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna go up and blow up this game. It was more like we're friends who all love Survivor and want to play and have fun. And if it makes sense to align ourselves, and in certain cases it definitely did, and that was
Yeah.
advantage to know these people as friends and be able to read them probably better than you could a stranger. That's helpful for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. You arrive on day one, and what happens, and what are you thinking? What are you like? What are your, first impressions of the people you haven't met yet?
Of the people I haven't, oh, like
Yeah.
um yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we came in, I think everyone will pick up from the first episode that Dee Dee was kind of a huge like day one character, like
Yeah.
talking a lot of personality, a lot of stories. She was really fun to get to know. Um, but I think everyone wasn't quite sure what to make of her after the very first moment when Liza says, there's an idol across this field for whoever wants it, and she immediately takes off running and grabs that idol. Like it it makes you a little nervous to be like, oh, now there's someone with an idol. Maybe that's, an easy first vote, or maybe
Yeah.
that's, going to be trickier because now she has an idol and kind
Right.
of, if she's a fan, would know that that's going to put a target on her back. So we're definitely trying to read that situation a bit. But
Oh, Callie, was she the only one from your tribe to run for it?
she was, yes.
Okay. Oh my God. Silly Dee Dee. Okay.
Yes. So that was very funny. Definitely got things off to a really eventful start. Um, and yeah, after that, she did decide to pull herself from the game for her mental health, and totally respected that she needed to do that. But
Do you know
um,
anything like what led up to that point?
mhm. So we were hanging out during the day. Aaron had been chosen to go on the journey, so he
Yeah.
was away for most of the day, doing, we now know, like a puzzle and kind of risk or save your vote thing and earning an idol. But at the time, we were all kind of hanging out. We were playing, I think, bocce on there's some sand dunes near our campsite, and we were just playing a game, trying to kill time. At that time, there had been no immunity challenges, so we were just having fun. And Dee Dee had, seemed very normal, and I don't know the details of her mental health struggles, but at a certain point, she kind of went off to production and then came back to us and was like, I feel like I need to pull myself from the game. I don't like, do this kind of thing very often. And it's just a little overwhelming for me, but it's not even anything that had happened at the camp or any, interaction that we had had with her, I hope. But I think it was just a bit of an overwhelming situation for her.
Yeah. I mean, from her pre-game interviews, she seemed like she hadn't really been around too many people for several years, and so that makes sense. That adds up. Okay.
She lives on a farm she runs a dispensary and weed farm, which was really fun to hear a bit about. But I think, mostly family oriented, hang out with her son and husband. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's not Adam. It's Chris. It's Topher on your tribe that you knew. Yes. Okay. So who else did you feel like you were making any kind of connection with that first day to start working with?
Yeah, I definitely felt very connected with Amelia from the start. I mean, she and I think, shared, that we were both, pretty introverted, quieter. This was like definitely pushing the comfort zone to come out and do something like this. And she just, I don't know, I felt like someone, as the only, after Dee Dee leaving, the only other two women on the tribe, like it felt like kind of a natural alliance between us, which was nice to have. And I enjoyed talking to her and all that. So yeah, that definitely felt like a good alliance. Nick as well is a super nice guy, and we all got along, like chatting for sure. Aaron was also very nice. Like it's not exciting for a podcast interview to say, but we genuinely had a great time, chatting with each other. I think like Aaron was very into the challenges and winning the challenges, which was less my approach, which is why I felt like more connected to Amelia and the others, because I think they were more like strategy Survivor fans and not as much into the outdoors or, physical aspect of the game.
Aaron's a rare breed in LRGs. You usually don't get people who are just there to be outside and like survive.
Yeah. And he was a Survivor fan. Like he had seen it before, but I think just from like how the first vote went down, definitely just more interested in winning, doing well in the challenges and keeping the tribe strong. So
So I need to hear more about all this. So when he goes off on the journey, was it ever brought up between the rest of you, like, he'll be the first to go?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like, I don't think, honestly, for the first day, people weren't trying to strategize too hard. I think there is a downside to that, like being the first one to start like pointing fingers. Like you don't want to seem like you're gaming too hard too early. So I think, people were like, we'll see what happens when he comes back. And we all decided not to tell him about Dee Dee having given Amelia her idol when she left. Because
that's right. Okay, so
sorry, I forgot to mention.
She did that in front of everybody. Were cameras there too?
Yes. Dee Dee, so Dee Dee handed Amelia her idol in front of everybody. And we were all kind of, at that point, Aaron was still on the journey, and we all kind of agreed, like, how about we don't tell Aaron about the idol still being in the game. So at that point, when Aaron comes back, we're like, yeah, it was crazy. Dee Dee, it was overwhelming moment, and she just left with the idol, and we didn't ask for it. And he, seemed to believe that. I think it was just, you know, points at an inclination that everyone was thinking maybe Aaron is the natural first vote, since we don't necessarily know what kind of connections he was forming on this journey, what advantages he might have gotten, especially at the start, since he didn't come out and tell us that he had gotten an idol at the start.
Oh, so he didn't tell you guys.
Yeah, at first he didn't, and then eventually he decided to tell me, Nick, and Topher about the idol.
So he only told you. Why did he choose not to share that with Amelia?
Because Aaron wanted Amelia out for the first vote because of, perceived that she was not as good at challenges. Honestly, like, she stepped up for like some challenges that I was definitely afraid to. I think it could have easily been me as like the target for weakest on challenges. Not that I don't think I was that bad at them, but I think the data point that Aaron was looking at was a BB gun challenge, where none of us had done a BB gun before. Aaron is obviously amazing at it because he likes to, hunt as a hobby, but Amelia stepped up to that and was willing to try it and struggled a bit with it. And I think for that reason, Aaron had kind of gotten it in his head that she would be, the weak link on the tribe for physical challenges.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's an ignorant thing to think, but common, I guess, for like the smallest lady on the tribe to be the weakest. Yeah. And you're tall. How tall are you?
I'm almost 5'9".
Oh, okay. My wife is 5'9". You look so tall next to other people in the videos that I've seen.
Yeah, I think Amelia is just really short. And so when we're standing as a tribe, yeah. Yeah, it's so hard. And I think that was running through my mind. It's like, I don't want to be perceived as the weakest, but I don't think I'm relatively fast. I guess I can run and I'm okay at puzzles, but for things like a BB gun, like, I just knew that I wouldn't know where to start with that. So I didn't volunteer myself, and Amelia did. So cap off to her for that.
Okay, so I need to know, why the fuck did Aaron give you his idol? Tell me this story. What happened?
That is truly a mystery to me as well. Aaron, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but it was too good an opportunity. I had to betray you after that. Especially knowing that he wanted Amelia, and I felt like I had more potential to work with Amelia down the line, especially if, we didn't know when the merge would be coming. We didn't know about the tribe swap. If Amelia goes and they're kind of running with this keep the tribe strong mentality, I felt like I would be the natural next person to go. So I really didn't want to get too far down that line of thinking. But yeah, honestly, I do not know what led to his decision to give it to me. Maybe he wanted to build some more trust. I did ask him if I could see the idol after he said he had it, just because I feel like we were standing alone. It could have been a bluff if he knew like going on this journey was going to put a target on his back and we were going to vote him anyways. Maybe he'd make something up about getting an idol, so we'd be less likely to vote him. I just asked to see it. He pulled it out and was like, do you want to hold it? Do you want to have it?
What?
Yeah.
What?
So
you just asked to see it.
Yeah.
It's like, you want it?
Yes. And at first I didn't take it because I was like, oh my God, if I have this idol, I'm going to have to be a huge asshole and get it away from you somehow. So I tried to, I was like, are you sure you want to do that? At a certain point, he had put it back in his pocket, and then I was like, well, maybe I'd take it, and he gave it back to me. So I don't know.
Was this on camera?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So it was honestly like a huge stroke of luck. Maybe he thought I was most trustworthy or something, but honestly, I think I was just kind of the last person to talk to him, and it was like a huge stroke of luck and a big risk he was taking, trying to build some trust, perhaps that
Yeah.
was, uh, he shouldn't have trusted me, I guess.
Yeah, clearly not.
Really not.
Um,
Um,
w was that before the immunity challenge that you guys lost or after?
After, yeah, this was at the
Wow.
point where we had to decide on someone, and I think he kind of thought we were all on board with Amelia, keep the tribe strong, but
So this was the next day? That was the next morning?
yes, yes, the next morning.
Wow. Okay.
That's when we actually didn't do too much strategizing the night before. Everyone was exhausted after the challenge, and it was just like a frantic morning of figuring stuff out and splitting off, and it happened during that. And yeah, I don't know how it happened, and it honestly determined the whole rest of my game, obviously, and it
Yeah.
credited a lot to my win. It was just a stroke of luck.
I mean, there's so much luck in Survivor. It's like I would say it's like 75% luck. I don't
Totally.
think many other people agree with me, but I stick to that.
No, I do agree, actually, especially after this. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of just luck and social connections, to be
Yes.
honest.
Yes. And having, I mean, you can't be dumb. Like you need to have some strategic mind about you and be good at something, but so much of it is luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you brutally and viciously blindside Aaron after
Yeah.
stealing his idol. And okay, so but people voted for Amelia and you told Amelia to play her idol, correct? How did
Yeah.
that go down?
This was kind of a plan that because Topher was of a similar mind as me, I think. Like, yeah, I think Amelia long term would be more trustworthy. Aaron had been talking about how much he liked, Mary from the other tribe. I think we
Mhm.
were more nervous about him like branching out and forming new connections and maybe being more likely to flip in any future merge situations
Yeah.
than Amelia, who just seemed a little more like-minded about strategy. Um, and so we had hatched this plan where I'll build some more trust with Amelia. We'll flush her idol, which, like, I don't know, felt bad doing, but also it was a way to, make sure we had the idol. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
obviously get rehidden and you don't know, becomes more of an unknown if you don't know it's there, but at the same time, it felt like an advantage to have the only idol in our tribe, and have
Hmm.
less people know about it.
Hmm.
And yeah, to build some connection with Amelia and keep her around.
So who knew that you had Aaron's idol at that point early?
Topher did, yeah.
Just Topher.
Just
Okay. And you guys together came up with this plan of flushing Amelia's idol. Is that right? I heard that you gave Topher a lot of credit for that in your final speech.
Yeah, I'm sure people didn't like that, but it was the truth. Yeah, he just spends a lot of time thinking about Survivor. I probably could have gotten there on my own at some point. Like, I hadn't talked to all of the guys yet, I think, at that point, so I didn't know like how set Nick seemed on voting for Amelia.
Okay.
So
Did he vote for her?
yes.
He did. Okay.
And to my knowledge, Nick did not. Yeah, I think Nick definitely thought it was going to be a straightforward vote there.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
for a little while, I was nervous that maybe someone had seen me. At that point, I had already talked with Amelia, so I had to kind of like whisper, use eye contact to kind of signal to her that she should play her idol. I didn't want it to look suspicious if I pulled her off for another chat and
Mhm.
wasn't like staying strong with the boys. Um,
When did you do it? Like in line when you're waiting to go into tribal or what?
yeah, kind of just we were about to go into tribal, we're sitting around and I just like kind of side whispered over to her like
Okay.
Um, yeah. Uh,
Okay, cool.
mhm.
When I think it was Brandon was like texting me updates that those first 2 days, and he told me all this, and I was like, "This is amazing! The first tribal council is gonna be so cool."
Yeah, it was cool. Um, I'm glad that happened. I don't know if she maybe would have gotten a vibe and played it even without me.
Hmm.
When we talked last, she was like, I'm not gonna play it. Um, so I don't know, but I definitely wanted her to stay and had made that known and was gonna read out the vibes from the boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, then you're feeling like pretty good with Topher and Amelia. Maybe not as good with Nick,
Yeah.
and that's it because you had that quit early from Dee Dee. So but you guys don't lose another challenge or go to tribal for a long time, and then the
Mhm.
swap happens. What happens with the swap? Where do you end up? You end up with, oh
I end up
gosh.
luckily, yeah, I end up still with Topher and with Nick. So
Yeah.
we're in a majority three with two from each of the other tribes in our tribe as well.
Right. Okay. And then you guys win that first challenge.
Hmm.
Any thoughts about that whole thing? Like, I don't mean to skip over huge portions of the game. Do you want to talk about anything that happened from that first vote out to the swap?
Honestly, nothing big. It was exciting to be winning challenges. I think we were like definitely brought our tribe together to be, you know, reduced down in size so early in the game, but then like able to go on and win challenges. That was exciting. We were definitely sad to be split off from Amelia.
Yes. Um, okay, so when do you lose?
There was a vote with I forget at what point, but we do have a vote and vote out Lauren
Yeah.
on her birthday.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. Oh yeah, here it is. Blue loses. Okay.
Yeah.
You're looking at your phone. Do you have notes? Like,
Yeah, I tried to jot down some notes just to
nice.
retell the story.
Okay, so that it was like a snake maze puzzle thingy.
Yes, we do lose that.
Okay, and then okay, and so then there's Zach. Oh yeah, so what happens there? Did Zach did you know Zach had an idol at that point? Did he tell you guys? Probably not.
No, we had no idea. And yeah, honestly, as a tribe majority, we definitely had people kind of coming up to us being like, I want to work with you. Zach pretty immediately was like, I want to work with you guys. I'm being legit. Like, I don't feel a strong attachment to Lauren and like we can get her out. Cause I think at that point she just seemed like the most vocal out of the tribe. She was kind of like made it known that she had helped organize LRGs before. I think it kind of like people felt like she was going to be playing the game pretty hard and was kind of a natural target for that reason. And Zach, I think, had picked up on that and approached us and was like, I want to work with you three, um, original Moosehead.
Hmm.
And I think might have been unanimous. I think Allison and Dave also voted with us. I'm
Yeah,
forgetting the
so
exact vote breakdown. We probably should have planned that better in case she had an idol, but
what Lauren thought was going to happen because they found that idol together, her and Zach, right before the swap.
oh, really?
And so they were like supposed like their whole tribe knew about it. They were supposed to like they got to keep it because they were in the minority on this new tribe. And so
Oh, so
like
they like handed it to them and was like, take this.
I
Here
mean
you go.
Zach found it, but they were like, yes, great, Zach, keep the idol because they had agreed that he would give it to whoever was on the minority
And
in
I
a swap.
imagine I had heard something, I don't know if it was true, that Dave and Lauren had played before and had
Yes.
kind of planned to have an alliance.
I wouldn't say that. I would say they knew each other from a game that they never played with each other they didn't have an alliance in that game, but when she saw him, was like, yes, I'm going to try to work with him. And he did not feel the same way.
So I imagine maybe they had something cooking as an alternate vote, but I don't know the details of it.
So she gets voted out
on her birthday.
On her birthday. So did she like say like, guys, it's my birthday?
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't care. You didn't care at all.
In my confessional, I was like, "Happy birthday! I'm sorry," but I think I don't know. I feel like everyone is a big enough fan of Survivor that they're like, if it makes sense for the strategy, I'm not gonna like rock the boat.
Yeah. So was it that she was a kind of a threat? Was that the main reason? And that Zach was like, yeah, I'll vote her out.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think everyone kind of just felt like I don't know, it was harder to get a read on her vibe. She just seemed like someone who's really good at talking to people, really like strategic, and like I think at least I personally felt like she'd approached Allison and I as like a girls' alliance, but was also like it just seemed like she would talk to whoever and choose the best option out of that. And at least for my strategy, I was really trying to trust my gut on like who I could read and like felt would be honest. And I felt like she would be really good at lying.
Yeah.
So, credit to her.
Your gut did not lie. You have a good gut.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what happens next? That's like nighttime on night 2. And then you guys win the fire.
We win the fire. That was awesome to get a reward. I think big morale boost. And
oh shit, that was fucking spaghetti dinner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, did the whole tribe get it?
Yes.
Wow.
We did. Allison and Zach led the charge on that. They were awesome. And yeah, I don't think we were even expecting to win that. We all knew like from the Sebago tribe that, you know, Seth is an outdoors guy. He'll be doing fire for the other side and like he'll rock it. And I think, yeah, maybe the nerves got to him, but we were able to pull it out. So that felt awesome.
He claims that it was a bad flint.
Yes.
Yes. So it's like 1 a.m. or something, and you guys are having spaghetti. Maybe it's early.
I had no idea what time it is. It could have been 1 a.m, but we were having spaghetti, and that was awesome.
Where did that happen?
That was up at the tribal area,
okay.
where the production tent is. Yeah, it was just nice to get food, and I think the tribe felt pretty bonded after that. Of course, everyone's like, we have to stay 6 strong in the merge, and you never know how much, you know, to trust that sort of thing. But
yeah, especially a split group like that.
Yeah, I definitely felt like I had made bonds on the tribe. Like I felt, you know, connected to Allison. She did run for the idol at the first day, so that was kind of in my mind, like she's here to play. But I felt like I liked her and could read her motives maybe a little more. She definitely didn't want to vote out another girl, and I do feel like she was sincere on that. So that felt like a good data point.
You're so cute with these data points. What do you do for a living?
I do product design, so not data, but yeah, definitely trying to collect information.
Collecting this data. All right. So you are feeling good about Allison. Mm-hmm. You have Nick and Topher as well.
Yeah.
And then you guys win again the next day. And then it's the merge. So tell me about that, because I don't know much about like how like mergatory, how that all went down.
Oh yeah, so it was the block challenge, which is awesome, by the way. I can't believe production built that. It was so fun to play.
I'm impressed. Yeah.
Yeah. I was annoyed because I had the first pick of the station I wanted, and I was between two, and the one I didn't pick, once we got up to it, Zach had gotten it, and it became clear like that one was a lot closer to the table.
The
And
purple one. I heard
yeah,
about
the
this.
purple one. And Zach was like, yeah, that was, you know, I he did a good job at the challenge, but he was like, I definitely credit it to that. And he was the first to win the challenge. So
hmm
darn, if I had just done that, I could have.
So were you not one of the you were on the outs then?
I
Okay.
was on the outs. Yes, I was not safe.
You were
And I was
vulnerable.
not safe with Topher, Dave, Amelia. Um, who else? TJ maybe? Yes. And at this point, like super proud of Amelia for making it through. I heard she scrapped a lot to get through those votes. Later found out that was by, you know, spreading some information about how I had, you know, told her to play the idol. She was trying to be valuable to the other tribe, which totally respect.
Yeah.
Got her through, and she built a strong alliance with TJ. But I think she still felt connected enough with me to want to strategize once we got back together.
hmm
And honestly, that first vote after the merge was super chaotic. I do not remember a lot of the conversations, but I had heard her name at one point. I had heard um Topher's name, obviously. He was the one who went. Dave's name. He was the majority vote for that one. Um, and
Right. Oh yeah, this was a crazy one. Okay.
yeah.
Did
So
they
for
get
this
to
one,
eat? Were the winners, did they get some kind of feast that they went to?
yeah, I think there was a merge feast for
And
the
like you losers had to go somewhere else or what?
yeah, we went and sat and talked.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, obviously pretty chaotic, all coming together. This middle part of the game was definitely the most overwhelming for me, at least. It felt like there were enough people left that you have to keep track of just all these alliances in your mind. So many names are flying around because everyone, has their people that they feel like they have more potential to work with, but doesn't want to outright say that. So they're suggesting like a different name that's maybe in a similar alliance, and you're just trying to keep all this web of connections straight in your head and remember how the last vote had gone down. And I definitely was getting overwhelmed at points. It also
Well,
helped. Yeah.
I just credit to you that from what I heard from production, your name was the only one that never came up as a target.
Yeah.
So good for
And
you.
I think that was because I was being seen as a goat, which
Ah,
was kind of my strategy. And people had
okay.
come up to me, and Dave actually came up to me and said as much. Like
Oh,
saying, people, you're saying you're someone to take to the end, like you have to do something, or like you won't get any votes. So it's like, I know. It's also like, oh, crazy. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I didn't want to share that I had an idol and
yeah.
could afford to play it safe because I knew I had like a crazy move left in me. But yeah, I think that was part of it. Maybe also that I had spent time with Amelia. I think connecting a bit on that side of things helped. Having obviously like Adam as someone they wouldn't have known, wouldn't want to bring up my name, but he also um, was a connection I had on the other side of things. I think I was just insulated well enough with lots of different people that um, people thought they could work with me in the future and not want to vote me off.
Yeah. That's a great position to be in.
Yeah, it worked out.
And it's hard to maintain. So credit to you. Um, so that vote then, what happens? Because it's like gonna be Dave, and then like is this where Zach plays his idol?
Yes, Zach plays
What
his idol
happened?
for
Yeah.
Dave, which really came out of left field, honestly, for a lot of us. I had no idea they had been so aligned. And I honestly don't think they were because it didn't, yeah, I mean, I think Zach maybe just wanted to make a move and is a fan of Survivor and knows you have to do that kind of thing, but it didn't
Early.
put him into a majority alliance. I think it put them into a tie. He also immediately he voted for Amelia as well.
Oh,
Then the rest voted Topher. Maybe that was in case an
in case
idol
Topher.
voted for
Yeah.
Topher. At that
Yeah.
point, no one could have known I had an idol for him. But um, yeah, it obviously was sad. It took out my ally. We had a
Yeah.
conversation. I think he knew he was on the chopping block and had asked if I would play the idol for him, and
Oof.
I was like, I don't think it would make sense. So uh kind of shot him down, but I don't think he was too torn up. It was sort of exciting to go out on an idol play as like a threat,
Yeah.
which he
You know,
definitely was. Yeah.
so did you consider when Zach plays his idol on Dave, did you consider playing yours on Topher?
I considered it for sure, but I'm really glad I didn't. I think then Amelia would have gone home, and that's someone else I obviously wanted to work with more. I also just thought like it was too early to play an idol, and that was sort of proven right by the fact that
Yes.
Zach was the next vote.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, and I wanted to keep Topher around, but I also knew at that point we were approaching, we'd made it to merge, and at that point we would probably keep working together, but bets were sort of off, like I
Yeah.
mentioned. Like, I don't know if alliances would have shifted at that point. We were back with Adam and they're super close. So, that was kind of going on in the back of my mind as well.
That Topher and Adam could be have something tighter than and that you would be a third wheel or what? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Or that, everyone would be looking out for the strategy that benefits them. And knowing I have an idol is a lot of power. I didn't expect him to be using that as leverage anytime soon. I definitely think we would have continued working together at least a little longer, but I also thought that we were approaching a time where the game would become a little more individual, and if we was going to go before the merge, I think I would have been more likely to play for him. Um, Even just because he's a friend and I want him to be able to experience the merge as well. Like, that was a factor, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it made sense at that stage to play it for him.
Well, I'm proud of you. I'm because what is that? That's just really smart. A smart play for you, I think. Well, obviously it was because you won, but I think it was a good choice.
And he knew it too. He wasn't like pressuring me to play it for him at all. He was
Yeah.
like, "Would you play it for me?" Like, knowing the answer was probably no.
Right. Right. At that point, did you tell Adam about the idol?
I
Okay.
told him, actually, it might not have been that vote. It might have been later, but he did eventually find out.
You don't remember when you might have told him that?
Yeah, I don't think it was that vote. I think it
Okay.
was a couple more.
Okay, cool.
I think it was a nighttime. I remember telling him during the nighttime. So I think it was one of the later votes after the merge that day.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
The more you talk about your game, the more I'm respecting it, Callie. Because I wasn't there. Usually I'm there and I'm like, oh, this winner's amazing. I can't wait. But like, I know nothing about what
probably
you're
all you
doing.
probably all you heard is like, oh, this friend group came in and
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
which is fair. And like, I'm again not discrediting that. But yeah. And oh, also during this vote, I had learned that Nick was when a vote for Amelia was coming up, Nick had heard about me telling her to play the idol.
Oh,
At that point, I thought maybe he had seen me because when I had whispered to her, I kind of felt like there was a moment where they were like, he was like sort of noticing it. I should have suspected Amelia more at this point for having told people that I told her to play the idol, because clearly
Mhm.
that just got out into the general, pool of knowledge.
Mhm.
But I learned that Nick wanted to leave me out of a vote for
Oh.
Amelia. So at that point, I was suspecting him a little more and had lied really well about it to me.
Oh, well, tell me more about this. So, what do you mean, first of all, what do you mean by, like, do you think Amelia put that out there to make you seem like a bigger target, or what was her motivation?
We talked about it, and from what she said, I think it's a really smart way to play. She was like, my strategy for getting through on the bottom of this other tribe was to give them information. As long
Hmm.
as I was like giving them information and they felt like I could provide some value, they'd keep me around. And obviously that theory proved correct. So, the information she had was, I feel close with Callie. She told me to play the idol. And that just kind of got out. I don't know exactly who she told or at what point, but, you know, Kat was out of the bag on that.
Okay. Okay. So Nick wants to keep you out of a vote. Is this because he's seeing you as a threat now?
No, I think he's seeing, because he knows that I had told Amelia about the idol. I think he knows that Amelia and I are allied. And
Yeah.
so he doesn't want to tell me about the vote because he thinks I would, share it with Amelia.
That he wanted to vote Amelia out?
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, which didn't even end up coming, which didn't even come up really. Like, I think that was just a passing. There were so many names that came up, and I think it just fluctuated. At some point, Amelia was one of the names.
Was it
I felt
was
like she was the target because she, on one of the challenges, had like pushed herself really hard on that spool challenge and like really gave it her all. So I think everyone was like, "Oh, that's a survivor mindset, and that
oh
makes her
shit.
a threat," you know.
The fact that she almost passed out makes her a threat.
Yes, no, literally,
That's
and like making it through on the bottom, and
yeah.
obviously did. She got a lot of votes, and
Yeah, fuck yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So from what I was told, like she was brought up as a vote like almost every round and then it just never happened. So do
Yeah,
you remember when it was that like Nick wanted to leave you out of this vote?
that was during the Dave vote, so the first vote pre-merge.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it did. It
Gotcha.
was again like the only person who put it down was Zach. I don't think he. I still don't really know what happened there. I'd love to hear his thoughts because after that vote, he came up to me and was like, "No one knew I was playing the idol for Dave. Like, keep me around as a shield, that kind of thing." And then I asked Dave, like, "Did you know Zach was playing the idol for you?" And Dave told me, "Yes, I did."
Oh.
So I don't know. Like maybe some I would expect their story to be consistent if they were allied. So I don't really know what went down with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, how did that come up? Yeah, Amelia's name was brought up at some point. Zach voted for her, but she was not the main target.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's when Topher goes out.
mhm.
Did you ever win individual immunity?
I did. I won the final immunity challenge,
Oh yeah. Awesome.
which was exciting, and I came runner up in one of them, but
Okay. Um, which one do you remember?
we were holding the curved ball on it.
Okay.
Nick won that one.
So that's even later. That's like
It was not until later. The
okay.
pool had to be narrowed down a little more for me to win.
Okay, so what the rest of day three, then what's going on? Like after Topher gets voted out through that night, what's going on with your strategy talks? Who are you working with closest?
Yeah. At this point, and I think like this was also kind of key to my game. Like I'm in with Nick, although like a little wary of him after, learning that he wanted to leave me out of a vote. I'm in with Amelia as well, and probably feel like closer with Amelia. Although she has aligned really closely with TJ, who I just don't really know at all. We overlapped not at all until the merge, and I'm worried at this point that they are closer than I am with her, which proved to be correct because she was telling him information as well.
Mm.
I had also heard a rumor at some point during these next few votes that he had brought my name up. So
Oh.
even though we had voted together for the past couple votes, I believe, but I'm sort of getting suspicious of him a bit. Then I think, yeah, next vote is Zach. That's kind of a pretty easy one. Everyone, I think, just knew he had put a target on his back and were confused by his alliances, and it felt like a easy vote then.
Mm-hmm.
Then
And Dave, right?
Dave.
How did that one go down? Was it just like unfinished business?
Yeah, I think that was the vibe. It's like, again, felt like an easier vote. I don't, yeah, I didn't feel that. Obviously, they had been on my merge tribe, but I honestly didn't feel after that move, I didn't feel like I knew their motives or their connections. And I was also conscious of like, oh, what if there's some like higher level kind of LRG alliances going on that I'm not aware of? And maybe it's just safer to kind of pick those people off. So
Yeah.
um, I was definitely good with those votes.
Like Dave and Lauren, you mean?
Dave and Zach, because Zach
Yeah.
had also played
Yes.
before. Um,
I think that maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I think that he like spoke with Dave and was like, "Hey, I played this game, you played that game, let's work together." I think there was something like that. I might be mixing him up with someone else though.
okay. Um, but because I'm like in with Amelia, in with Nick, eventually, so the most when this kind of comes to a head is Nick starts working with Lauren eventually. Lauren
Yeah.
came back in with Redemption.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so she also, I learned from them, I'm kind of like, at this point, I am like overwhelmed and like my head spinning from all these votes. It just all was happening very fast, but I'm also like playing that up a bit. Like, I just don't even know what's going on. People are saying I'm a goat. I need to do something crazy. So I play that angle with Nick, and we had like, I'm like, again, not very good at lying, which I've said. So I think he knew I was suspicious of him and was like a little like there was some tension between us. But after like pulling out my best lying with that, I was able to learn from him and Lauren that she believed she had extra votes
Yeah.
that she could buy with fire tokens or last chance
Shots in the dark. Yeah.
shots in the dark. Um, and with that, they wanted to pull off like a blind side of Allison.
Mm-hmm.
I think as like, yeah, I don't know.
Allison had just played her idol, right?
Yeah, Allison played two idols, I believe, back to back,
Yeah.
thinking it was for her, but neither time was the vote for her, even though her name came up. Yeah, so respect on her, number one idol hunter for sure.
Right.
I think she found the other one on like a fly trap in the voting booth.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But basically, I'm still in with Amelia as well. So I know that their side, they're gunning for Lauren, and on the other side, they're gunning for Allison and have these extra votes. And at this point, I'm also like, okay, I do feel like I need to make my move soon. Like I need to think of something clever with this idol. Also at this point, like Seth and I had not very many conversations, just a brief conversation. Like, you seem like a honest guy, and I respect that. Like, I'm also not as like big of a player as all these kind of LRG people. That's all we had interacted with at that point. We also knew from Aaron when he went out that he and Seth had been buddies, or are buddies from outside of the game.
Yeah.
And so at this point, we also know there's a twist after the next tribal. And what that ends up being after, the vote happens, I do vote with Amelia's side of things, take out Lauren. It ends up that she didn't even have, like, I could also tell there was something going on with her and Nick. She didn't actually have the number of tokens she thought she needed, or like, I think didn't realize that buying it would make her lose her vote.
Yeah. It was a bank of votes. She thought it was an extra vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do vote with Amelia's side. Lauren goes, grants immunity to Nick in this next tribal twist where we have to vote someone out immediately and only get like 3 minutes to confer. At that point, I was like, okay, Seth's number one is gone. He's like a loyal, honest guy, and I feel like he'll be looking for a new ally. This could be a good way to solidify that. I'm in enough with both sides that I know exactly who the majority side is going for, which is going to be Seth. And it was kind of just like an instinctive decision to play it for him, and take out TJ because, again, of that rumor I had heard. And I just felt like I could work more with Amelia and wanted her a little more cut off from closer allies so she would hopefully come back to me.
I love this. This is just brilliant from you. I love it so much. Great. Okay. I had to ask you though, before, sorry to go backwards.
No worries.
Why did you, because I'm just trying to remember what Lauren told me, because she was like going into that vote was like convinced that you, I think, I might have this wrong, that you and whoever else, Nick and whoever, Seth, maybe, were going to be voting with her. Yeah, it was you. Because then it was
because I was lying to her.
So tell me a little bit more about that and why you didn't want to work with her to get out whoever, Allison.
Yeah. Again, it was just gut. I just didn't fully trust her. Same with Nick, like of my ally, and like I think maybe I did over index on my gut because I did learn like if I had suspicions of it, but yeah, Amelia was kind of closer with Allison even then than she was with me, and having taken out her ally, I'm sure didn't make her trust me anymore, but I was hoping like, our past would negate that in some way, but I just didn't really trust Lauren or Nick fully, and it was gut 100%. Also, it still felt that they were definitely still a minority, even if they'd pulled off this extra vote thing. I don't think it would be a power position after that point. Yeah.
Callie, you're very smart. I hope that you said some of these things in your final tribal. Like, did you talk about like the why you played your idol on Seth during final tribal?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
Honestly, it was a blur. I'm not a public speaker, and I definitely got flustered. But
yeah.
There's and what I didn't fully expect. I mean, I also was like, this idol is from Aaron. Like, I know he's your buddy, and like, feel bad that he couldn't be here to like help you with it because I betrayed him, but kind of glossed over that as much as possible. It like felt kind of right to be playing it for Seth, and it did. Like, that was honest. But he was very, very touched by this, and
yes,
just like a really, really nice guy. I think like after that point we did kind of hit it off. Like, I think just being similarly like, yes, I'm a Survivor fan, but not a strategist to the extent like I think a lot of people they just are obsessed with it, are always like thinking of the schemes. And I was like, honestly, this is really overwhelming and like it's a lot. I think he respected that like straightforwardness and
Hmm.
like I'm with you to the end. Like I wanna stick together and I just felt like I could really trust him.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, that's really cute. I talked to him yesterday actually, and he told me like when you played that idol on him and it being Aaron's, like he anything you wanted, he would have done. And I asked him if it had been a tie, like if Lauren had voted for Amelia and he had to be the tiebreaker, who would he vote for? And he said you. He actually thought about it for a long time because he was really close with Amelia too. But then he was like, it has to be Callie. So,
Yeah.
aw, so cute.
Yeah. It was my ride or die. That was
Aw.
really sweet. Yeah, it was awesome. So that turned out to be a good move, even better than I could have expected. Like I
Yeah.
didn't expect Seth to like be so touched by it and like really want to work together till the end, but that turned out to be the case. So my gut was right in that instance.
Yeah, definitely. And you got out TJ, who was like competition for Amelia,
Mhm.
uh, for you. And that's the end of the night.
That is the end of the night. Yes.
What
And
goes on that night? Anything interesting or anything else from that day you want to talk about?
not really. I mean, people aren't really talking strategy that night. It was like a beautiful, we just like hung out together, talking around the campfire. Everyone was like getting to know each other better. It was really fun. But yeah, not much strategy happening that night.
Yeah, that's final six. That's like just it's usually like just having cute conversations and just like celebrating being final six and making it to the final day,
Definitely. I think
typically.
anyone at that point would like obviously you can feel the victory and it would be
Yeah.
exciting if you did win, but I think anyone at that point would be happy with how they'd done and wanna yeah.
Yeah. Everyone at that point should be proud of the way that they played.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so next morning, it's some immunity challenge that I don't understand. I'll find out later. And Adam wins. Um,
What was that one? Was it like a
something with balls and a bucket and a puzzle.
yeah,
Okay.
I forget. Adam was
So,
really good at the challenges. Yeah.
oh, was he? Yeah. Um, okay, so what is the vote? Allison gets voted out. Is it
Yeah.
because she played an idol twice in a row?
Yeah. And that was part of my strategy as well. It's like in my mind I was like I feel like I should take out either Allison or TJ, but having played a couple idols in a row, I knew Allison would be a good shield for the next vote. Like I I knew that playing an idol like this would put a target on my back, and besides like maybe Adam who would won immunity challenges or like Amelia being like really impressive getting through on the bottom of the tribe, like I didn't feel like there was an obvious target, someone who had played a big idol or made a big move besides me and
Did
Allison.
did your it's funny because like Allison's idols were basically played incorrectly, and yours was too, right? Like, did Seth get any votes that night?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did. So it was
It was going to be
three.
tough. Yeah.
It was 4-3, and it was going to be Seth.
Yes.
You played it correctly too.
Yes.
It's just like bam, 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 all good things for you. Okay, amazing,
Yeah.
loves it. Okay, okay. So you should have been the biggest threat at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was worried about, which is why I kept Allison. Like, even though they were ineffective idol plays, I was like, she's played two idols, she's good at the challenge, and she was better at the challenges than me. And she had won like the block stacking,
Okay.
and she had done the spool as well and killed it. So I think
Mm.
like she was definitely a physical threat. And obviously, the next vote, I was really hoping to like make that case and hit it home. And um, at that point, I was also still working with Adam as well, and he agreed. with that logic, but he'd also told me like I'm not sure how much you should trust Amelia because he's
Mm.
kind of seen her and Allison voting together. He turned out to be totally right. I shouldn't have told Amelia. I do kind of stand by it because I think me telling her, like me still talking with her, solidified enough trust to work together to get out Adam in the next vote. That
Ooh.
might not have been there, but at that point, like her and Allison were still working together. Allison, they ended up not getting together an alternate vote. Allison played her shot in the dark, and so did Nick,
Nick, yeah.
just like nervous about what was going on. So nothing happened, but they were going for Seth, and Amelia ended up being the only person voting for Seth.
Oh, but you told Amelia that you would be voting for Allison.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So she probably told Nick and Allison, and that's why they played their shots in the dark. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
happened?
think they knew that, and they played the shots in the dark. It was a gamble. It could have turned out worse for us, but um, it ended up being Allison. She didn't gain immunity from that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, or like, I think everyone knew Seth was really rock solid with me. I don't know why, like, I don't know why I wouldn't have been the target at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Seriously.
I think it was that Amelia still felt close with me, honestly. Like she told me before the vote, like, and maybe Allison too. I think they genuinely didn't want to vote out another girl. I don't know.
Probably. I mean, yeah. If it was me, I wouldn't want to, no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah, me neither. I didn't want it to be Allison, but she
Yeah.
felt like she was a good shield. Definitely
Yeah.
think she could have beaten me in the end, but
No,
um,
it was smart for you, definitely, to get her out.
yeah, but Amelia did tell me she was like, it's not you, it's Seth that we're going for.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
telling the truth. So we're still like,
Yeah.
we're beefing a little bit, but
Frenemies.
still frenemies. We're still working together enough to come together for the next vote.
And this one is a big one. On my notes that Addison gave me, it's like, so Nick wins immunity. Adam has a full spiral.
Yes.
What
Sorry about that.
happens?
Adam, I don't really know like what he was. I don't know the full extent of the spiral. I think he knew like it. He was kind of a next target. Like it could have been me. Like I don't know. And Adam and I are also like made it explicit at this point. Like do what you got to do. Like if there's betrayals involved, like obviously no hard feelings. Like
Nice. Yeah.
we had established that.
And it's a jury vote. Of course you want these guys
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Please.
for sure. Um, and having I knew he had a case against me too, like graded immunity challenge.
Mm.
He had warned me about Amelia. I hadn't listened. I feel like he had a strategic case against me in that vote.
Yeah.
So yeah, Amelia, Seth, Nick, and I banded back together and got him out next vote.
So it was unanimous. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you feel bad about it?
yeah.
A little bit, just a tiny bit.
Tiny bit. Not that bad. He, he was like afterwards. He was like, I kind of knew that
Yeah.
would happen. So
Yeah. Do you
it
know,
didn't
like,
feel good. None of the votes felt good. None of them. Like
yeah,
I really did not enjoy that.
yeah, definitely. Do you know what he did that what Addison means by he had a full spiral? What did he say something stupid to Seth? Is that what it was?
Maybe I think so.
Okay, you don't even know.
I honestly don't even know. I
Okay.
was like, Addison mentioned that, but yeah, I think maybe he was trying to get together a different vote and had told Seth, but like I don't know if it was for me. I don't think so.
I think it was for Seth. I think he wanted to vote out Seth, and he told Seth that he wanted to vote him out. I think that's like the extent of like the stupidest thing you could say is what he did.
And I don't think he was telling me that he wanted Seth.
Hmm.
Obviously, I wouldn't want
Interesting.
Seth to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. That's so funny. Okay. Okay. So then it's the final challenge. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get to this amazing final immunity win that you do, that you pull off here?
No, I don't think anything of note happened. Yeah, we kind of just went straight into the next challenge.
Okay. So explain the challenge. What was this balance
So it
beam?
was balance, untie knots, grab a ball, walk across balance beams, land the ball onto a large wooden frame,
Okay.
and then run back. And it was a ladder puzzle, which was also super fun to do. And I can't believe they built those, but big ladder with two pieces on each rung, and you have to run back and forth, only grabbing two pieces at a time and solve the puzzle. And this was like kind of perfectly suited to my ability. Like, I like puzzles and I like visual, like, I'm pretty visual. So, looking at how the holes are spaced and being able to guess the right piece for that, that was like definitely in line with my talents.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Were
So,
you, how did you do? Like, were you, I know you won, but were you like in the lead the whole time? I heard Amelia had no chance. That's what I heard. That's all.
yeah, I think Amelia was struggling with the ball part, but
Yeah.
yeah, I won by a good amount. Um,
Okay.
I don't know if that would have been the case if Adam was still there, but good thing we got him out.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect time to get him out.
And
When
by
you,
the time I'm finishing the ladder,
yeah.
I'm climbing down, and Nick is already like, "Don't send me to fire, please."
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Did you know at that point, like you would definitely be sending him to fire?
I didn't know definitely. I
Okay.
obviously wanted to talk to everyone. Like, if there was someone who really wanted to do it, at that point, I like was friends with all of them. I'm like, I
Mhm.
want to win, but also like, if someone wants to do it, like, whatever, man. Like, I knew Nick didn't want to go, but Amelia didn't want to go either. So, I did kind of leave it up to Seth too. I was like, look, I don't you've been so like loyal. I want to be able to sit you next to me if that's what you want, but I also feel like for your game, this could be the kind of thing that, you know, shows the jury that, it's a redemption moment from the original fire building challenge. It like reminds me of the last season of Survivor where I think it was Heidi was her name. She
Yes.
decided to do the fire building to like prove herself, which I thought was a really smart move for like that stage in the game. So I kind of just laid that all out for him and he wanted to do it. So um
Did you ever consider doing it yourself?
no.
Good.
I
You
suck.
shouldn't. You fucking won the challenge. You shouldn't have to do fire.
I also suck at it. I knew I wouldn't I didn't think I could win. It's I
So
didn't practice it very much. I
you didn't
didn't
practice?
practice it beforehand. I
Oh,
practiced at camp when I had like the
okay.
flint there and I was able to do it,
Okay.
but I definitely wasn't confident in it
Yeah.
like Seth was. Um,
What made you decide to take Amelia?
I thought, part of it was just like wanting to follow through. Like I'd been saying, I would like her and Seth as final three. We had kind of talked about that a bit, and I did sort of just want to keep that promise. I also thought like she had practiced fire a bit. I didn't know if she could beat Seth, but if she had won that fire making challenge, I definitely think she could have beat me. It's just like such a big move. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of felt like the right decision, and it sucked to send Nick. I didn't really debrief with him after. I feel like he might have been a little peeved. Um,
I mean, he had to know that you were closer with the other two than you were with him. He couldn't have been that mad about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but it didn't feel good to send him home with fire, especially because he really didn't want to. But
Yeah. I heard that he like almost kind of gave up, that he just had no idea how to make fire at all.
yeah, it was a little funny because earlier, I hope they don't use this footage, like, or maybe you will, but there was we were like practicing at the Moosehead camp, like everyone was trying to get it. I was trying for forever. You could make a really dumb super cut of me like 30 minutes later, still trying to get it. And then I like hand it to Nick. I'm like, do you want to practice? And he's like, no, I'm feeling kind of lazy right now. I don't really want to do that.
What?
I know. So he's probably eating those words later, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I will use that.
Uh-oh.
Just the part of him not wanting to practice, because he really didn't know what to do. It seemed like maybe had never.
He did practice it later. At some point in the camp, he got
Okay.
it, and so did
Okay.
I. Like
Okay.
we were all practicing, but there is a moment where he's like, I don't want to do it.
That has to be in the show.
Yeah,
Foreshadowing.
it's in there. There's a ton of Moosehead practicing fire footage. I think Matt was taking it.
Okay, that's good to
Um,
know.
yeah.
Because yeah, all the footage is arranged by like who shot it. So
Mhm.
good to know that Matt took it. Okay. Uh, so Seth brutally beats Nick in fire, even though it takes Seth a fucking long time. 7.5 minutes is really long.
Yeah.
Um, so you were happy, right? Like
Yeah. I
as
was
happy
happy.
as you can be. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely like wanted that moment for Seth. It felt like good. I also felt like Nick was going to be really well spoken at the end. I didn't feel that threatened by him, to be honest. Like
By Nick or by
by
Seth.
Nick.
Yeah.
Um, because I didn't, yeah, it felt like we had been the same place for a lot of the game. So similar strategy, but he didn't have an idle play or like I guess he had had an immunity win, so there was that. But I did feel like he would be really good at talking and representing
Mhm.
himself and like maybe being able to spin himself as like the strategic mastermind behind many of the votes that I felt like, frankly, we were kind of equal in. So that was nerve-wracking for me. And Amelia, I think Amelia and I were she killed it at the final tribal. Like she did way better than I did. But I felt like we'd probably be similar levels of like, a little more awkward and like uh that kind of thing. So I felt like it would be a better match at final tribal.
So you thought, I mean, of the final six, you thought like you, Amelia and Seth were the people you would have the easiest time beating.
Um, Not
Com-
necessarily. I think
okay. And you also thought that about Nick, that you could beat him pretty easily unless he could talk well.
yeah. I did I thought I did think I could beat Nick a little easier. Minus like maybe just the words being spoken, but I thought like the resume wasn't there.
Mhm.
Um, but again, yeah, I kind of wanted it to be Amelia. I felt like she deserved to be sitting there.
Do you think, like if things had gone terribly wrong and it was like you, Adam, and Allison, who do you think gets most of the votes at that point?
That would have been a toss up, I think. I think Adam and Allison would have killed it at the final tribal. They're both like great talkers and very articulate, and I think I had some of the strategic moves that it would be a toss up, but at the same time I would have been more nervous about it. I don't know. I honestly think it would have come down to final tribal.
And you didn't feel confident in your speaking ability at that point, or you
Mm,
weren't sure, that you didn't know you would do that badly.
yeah. Yeah. Um, no, I I know my strengths, and that's not one of them. So I was definitely playing to that. Um, I'm also like, yeah, I gave credit to allies. I knew that was a risk, and like I could
Yeah.
have spun it a lot more about myself, but
Hmm.
I didn't feel like that was the way I had played or like trusted my game throughout. So I didn't, for the stakes of for the purposes of this, I didn't want to do that really. So I did give credit to allies, and
Yeah.
that probably hurt me in the end, but
Yeah.
I don't regret it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
I'm
Um,
sure there are people who like been saying like, yeah, she just went along with her allies and wasn't masterminding things, and maybe that's true, but I think like there's something to the fact that I was just closer with my allies and they felt like they could trust me more and wanted to keep me around more. Um, and it paid off in the end.
yeah. I don't know that many people were saying anything like that. It was just you not owning it enough in the end.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I think TJ had said like, "Oh, I would have voted for you." I mean, I don't know if I fully believe him because obviously he and Amelia were so
Yeah.
close. But I would have voted for you if you had just like been like, "Yeah, I took you out like a badass."
You should have. You should have. Should have
Yeah.
said that because you did.
Yeah. I was just
That was
hoping that
all
would speak
you.
for itself rather than like,
Uh,
yeah.
well, whatever. Who cares? You won. And I think, I mean, really, you played really well. From what I had been hearing throughout the weekend from production, is that people thought like you, Adam, and Allison, like by day three, like you were is that three? You, Nick, and Allison. Sorry, not Nick. Adam were the one. Yeah, from like the middle, like after Topher gets voted out.
Mhm.
It's like it's the three of you are the best players, and like period. So you played so well that you got out those other two biggest threats in Allison and Adam. So and got yourself to the final four and then won your way into the final three. I think what a great winner to have for this season.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do credit that to the allies I had because
Yeah.
I think it would have been really easy to turn on me and not want to keep me around if I had seemed a little more, I don't know, dishonest or schemy. Like I definitely told people things I shouldn't have I but it came through in the end. I think that like wanting to be genuine helped me a lot.
I think you need to give yourself more credit, Callie, even now, like, because you got people to trust you and not just the people you knew outside the game. Like, you got people to trust you. You should take credit for that. You like those alliances that you had to lean on. You built those things. Take
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah. No, I do think that's the one thing I will take credit for. At least. Yeah.
And I'm so happy we finally have a woman winner of Surviving Maine. It's been a long 3 years before this with only dudes. At least
Yeah.
two of them were gay.
Well, I'm gay too, so apparently only gay people are good at Survivor.
Yes, yes. Season one doesn't exist. It was never on YouTube. We don't
Oh,
need to talk about that. A straight white man won it.
what happened to What happened to season one?
I don't know. There's footage apparently on a hard drive that Liza may or may not still have, and I had offered to edit it, but never got the hard drive, so I don't know what
Imagine they
happened.
were still working out the kinks at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um
I can't imagine how much work goes into this. Like, I can't
yeah.
believe you all do this volunteer. It's crazy.
I know we are nuts. We are absolutely
Yeah.
nuts. Like the people who go out there, like I flew out from California last year to do it and I was like I'm never doing this again ever. It was awful. It was so awful, Callie. It's so much harder than playing to like be standing with the camera for
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours. I was like, no, I'm not going this year, but I'll still make the show. Because even like editing takes fucking hundreds of hours. Hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't, and like trying to pick out the narratives, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff to sort through, I imagine.
It's a fun hobby though. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I do it because I love doing it. It just
Yeah,
takes a lot of time.
totally. I'm sure it's really rewarding.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
play these as well?
Excuse me?
Do you play these as well? Do you play these
I,
LRGs?
I've never had until about 6 weeks ago. I played my very first one, and it was a Big Brother game.
How was it?
It was amazing, and I won.
Oh, nice.
Just a couple of winners here having a
Oh
conversation.
man, that's awesome. I've never seen Big Brother actually.
Oh, it's a terrible show. It's a really good game though. Like,
Yeah.
so like I love Survivor as a show, and Big Brother as a show sucks, but the game mechanics are different, and I love the game so much more. It's a lot less luck in Big Brother because you're not paired off. It's all individual the whole time. And there's just it's also hard because there's, so many people to keep track of and all these alliances going on the whole time. So you're starting off with 16 people, whereas like on Survivor, you're never with that many people all at once. So there's, pros and cons to it, but I loved it mostly because I won. But I had
Congrats on winning.
thank you. Yeah.
Did you get filmed for this?
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be on YouTube in a year or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I've been telling people like I had a lot of fun and I'm so glad that I tried it and the effort that went into it. Like it was so fun to try the challenges and meet new people, but I would never go on the Real Survivor after experiencing this. Like
Right.
I don't think I could play another LRG either. It was very emotionally draining. Like I did not like voting people off,
Yeah.
and I feel like I feel good because I was able to win, but it could have really tapped into some insecurities if I hadn't been able to like take that risk and do something with that idol for myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it felt like way more yeah, draining than I expected.
Yeah, dude. The final day of my game, I was like, I'm never doing this again. Like I was set to play Brandon's game in Maine
Oh,
in July. Like we were supposed to do it. And I was like thinking, I think I need to like quit that game and pull out of that game because I was so exhausted just from being around people. I'm a super introverted too. And it was just like the hardest thing ever to be around that many people for that many days in a row.
Yeah.
So I understand. I decided, okay, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna like go all in, and I'll be a villain this time. And then I fucking tore my ACL, so I don't
Oh
get to play
no,
anyway.
I'm so sorry. That sucks.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it does.
Brandon's game sounds insane. He was describing it to me. I was like, what are you talking about? Running two games at the same time on a mountain?
Yeah, yeah, he's nuts.
I mean, good on him. And they're raising money. That's awesome. But
Yes, yes.
it's wild. I couldn't do it again. But
Ever again, or do you think you might get the itch one day? Like if Liza does a All-Star season or something, would you come back?
maybe.
Maybe for that.
Yeah, I would have to gain some distance, I think, because it's definitely type 2 fun where like I'll look back and be like, that was so much fun. So
Yes.
I'll need to have that a little more.
Type 2 fun? Is this a data point? What is type 2? JK.
Yes. Or it's like fun that's not fun in the moment.
Yeah.
When you look back, it's fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, but no other LRGs. You're just like not about applying for anything anytime in the next year or two.
No, no.
Yeah, I do not blame.
Maybe, yeah. If I were to do something like it would be hard to go in and like I knew I had friends there. Like if I hadn't known anyone, like maybe something blood versus water where you do
Yeah,
get like a friend to go in with. Like
that's what I was gonna play. That was the only reason that I wanted to do it because I hate being outside, honestly. But
because you mentioned your wife also played
yeah,
today?
she played Surviving Maine and came in fifth. That was when Brandon won. And then so we were going to play together Blood versus Water for Brandon's game, but no longer.
Damn, that
Yeah.
sucks.
So I think it's a smart idea to like have this win and retire because like you can't go any higher, right?
Yeah, I guess there's nothing more to prove, really. Maybe that I could do it without friends, but
Yeah, maybe one day try again
Mhm.
when enough time has passed.
I think the boys want to get back in it. They
Of
might.
course they do. They didn't win. Of course they want to play again. Anyone
I
who
would be
doesn't win.
excited to see what Topher could do if he had gotten to the merge.
Hmm.
He's really smart when it comes to Survivor. He thinks a lot about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, I look forward to interviewing him about all that.
yeah, for sure.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for talking to me for like an hour and a half.
Thank you. And thanks for putting in all this work for it. I hope you edit my final tribal to seem better than it was.
Honestly, I've been thinking about like how am I going to edit Callie?
There's
Like,
there's a moment where I like really messed it up and I had to pause and then I tried to like restart in a way that could be edited better, but we'll see. It's fine if you can't do it.
it's either gonna be bumbling music like do do do, or it's gonna be like edited so
No.
poorly, or like soaring violins, and Kelly gives a wonderful speech that I have cobbled together, right?
It's my bed. I have to lie in it.
I'm sorry. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the footage gives me to play with.
Well, appreciate it.
All right. So nice to talk to you. And
Yeah,
yay, a gay winner, another gay winner. Yes.
gay people love Survivor.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.